With over 30 major events plus dozens of smaller ones packed into just 100 days, there are a ton of great things happening all around Minnesota this summer. We're not going to have time to cover all of them today, but fortunately you are in luck. I've just relaunched and revamped our free email newsletter called The Hot Dish, which gives you a weekly report of all the best things happening around the state so you can plan for a fantastic weekend, from new restaurants to try road trip itineraries up north to the coolest state parks and different places to try out all around the state. Honestly, we put so much love into this thing. I hope you'll go subscribe, and I hope that you totally love it. So hit up hotdishnews.com/subscribe and you can grab that. But back to today's video, we're gonna rapid fire you all the best events that you do not want to miss this summer. And there's no better way to kick it off than with a preview of our state's most famous event, and I'm talking about the kickoff to the summer at the State Fair, which is happening May 22nd through the 25th. This is at the State Fairgrounds over in Falcon Heights, and the kickoff to summer is essentially a mini version of the State Fair, so it's gonna give you a taste of what's coming up in August. You're gonna find 40 food and drink vendors, which is perfect if you're just like me and you cannot wait to get those cheese curds from the Mousetrap or some Sweet Martha's cookies. What's great about the kickoff is if you're like my 13-year-old and you absolutely hate waiting in lines, you're gonna find the kickoff does have way fewer people, it's a lot less crowded, and the lines are much shorter. All that means the atmosphere is completely different too, and it's got a much more laid-back vibe. You're gonna find there's live music throughout the parks playing, there's plenty of shopping opportunities, yard games for the kids, and even the giant slide is gonna be open for rides to give you that classic State Fair experience. One thing that I particularly like about it is the history tours that they provide, so if you've ever wanted to learn more about the State Fairgrounds without having to fight through the crowds in August, this is gonna be your chance for that. They also host a Milk Run 5K race, which is a fun way to get some exercise before inevitably eating your way back through the fair. And one super important pro tip for you, if they have that blueberry jalapeno lemonade again this year, skip it. It's not good at all. Absolutely disgusting. Blueberry jalapeno lemonade, no. And as great as May is, June is when Minnesota summer scene really comes alive, and we're doubling down on the local things to do types of content. So for my local audience, if that's your vibe, make sure to subscribe. All right, moving along. June packs more major events than any other month, including the celebration of Minnesota's most iconic musician. But before we get into that, let's start off with the Grand Old Days, which is happening June 1st on Grand Avenue in St. Paul. This is St. Paul's biggest street fair, and it really sets the tone for the whole summer. And a lot of locals, especially those living in the Mac Groveland and Highland areas, would consider this the unofficial start to summer. Grand Old Day features 150 food vendors, actually, multiple music stages, and a fantastic family-friendly zone for the kids to play in. The entire length of Grand Avenue actually transforms into this amazing community celebration, and the Grand Old Day showcases the best of St. Paul's character, from local restaurants setting up street food to Minnesota's craftspeople selling their works. I've helped clients around this area, and this is definitely one of the events that's a great selling point. Then just a few days later, from June 5th through June 9th, we have the Prince celebration at Paisley Park in Chanhassen. This is a must-attend event for any music lovers. Prince's legacy in Minnesota cannot be overstated. He's obviously our most famous musical icon, and Paisley Park helps keep the memory alive with this annual celebration. And here's where it gets interesting. The celebration features exclusive performances that you're not going to see anywhere else. You can see rare exhibits of Prince memorabilia and these incredibly immersive experiences that let you feel like you're really stepping into the world of Prince himself. If you are planning to attend, however, this is one thing that I would recommend getting your tickets early for, because it will definitely sell out. The middle of June brings two amazing music festivals that are happening simultaneously on the 20th and the 21st of June. The Twin Cities Jazz Festival is downtown St. Paul, where they transform Mears Park into an incredible jazz venue with free performances by world-class artists like Stephon Harris and Joe Lovano. This event has grown so much over the past few years, and it now includes venues all across the Twin Cities, so make sure to check their website for those locations and info. And let me tell you about a secret viewing spot that only the locals are going to know. There's a small hill up on the northeast corner of Mears Park where you can get a blanket, have a little picnic. You can actually have some conversation while you're enjoying the jazz music. It's a fantastic little spot. That same weekend, about an hour west of the Twin Cities, is the Winstock Country Music Festival. This is held in Winstead, Minnesota from June 20th through the 21st. So if country music is your thing, you're not going to want to miss headliners like Jordan Davis and Thomas Rhett. I've never personally gone, but from what I have seen from friends, the energy at Winstock looks absolutely incredible. And the best part seems to be the group camping options that are available too, which turns this not just from a regular concert to kind of a whole weekend experience. And finally, to close out this packed month, we have the Lakes Jam happening June 25th through the 28th, and this is up in Brainerd. Think Winstock, but a little more backwoods, a little less party scene, and this is going to combine both rock and country music with headliners like Riley Green, Daughtry, and Gary Allan. Along with great country music, they've got these wild activities that happen like mud trucks and watercross competitions, so it's kind of like they took a music festival, merged it with motocross, and it's just kind of the most perfectly Minnesotan thing. So pop quiz, which of these June events has been running the longest? The answer might actually surprise you, and actually Grand Old Days is the one, which has been St. Paul tradition since 1973. Now if you thought June was packed packed with options. July is going to bring Minnesota's biggest festivals along with some unique cultural celebrations. So let's take a look at what's coming up next. Kicking off July is the Taste of Minnesota, which is on July 5th and 6th, and this happens now on Nicollet Mall in Minneapolis. I believe it used to be over in St. Paul, if I'm not mistaken. This revitalized food and music festival features over 60 vendors showcasing the best of what Minnesota has to offer. And what's really cool about this event is how it combines the amazing local food scene with diverse musical performances. The food options range from classic Minnesota staples to new innovative cuisines from up-and-coming chefs, and it's going to feature all the flavors in one place, which makes it a fantastic place for visitors to try out who want to experience our local food scene. Next, July heats up with the Minnesota Yacht Club Festival. This is from July 18th through the 20th, and it's held at Harriet Island in St. Paul. This is one of the newest additions to our local festival scene, but it's already become one of the biggest, and the 2025 lineup includes surprisingly big name headliners like Hozier, Fall Out Boy, and Green Day. What makes this festival special is actually the stunning venue. So Harriet Island offers incredible views of the Mississippi River with the St. Paul skyline in the backdrop, so the atmosphere is unbeatable. If you have the budget, they do also have a limited number of river cruises that coincide with the performances, so you can actually watch the performances from floating on top of the water. And these aren't generally promoted very heavily on their websites, so you may have to contact the box office directly to get access to those. Meanwhile, up north in Duluth on July 19th, there's the Bayfront Reggae and Music World Festival at Bayfront Festival Park. So this is a cultural celebration that brings in performers from all around the globe to one of the most beautiful spots, honestly, in Minnesota, which is right on the banks of Lake Superior. I've taken my family up to Duluth many times, and if you wanted to combine this festival with just a great weekend up north, it would make for a fantastic little getaway. In fact, if you want help planning your Duluth trip, on this last episode of the Hot Dish newsletter, we actually have a whole road trip itinerary planned of all the little stops you need to make on the way up to Duluth. So combine that with the Reggae Festival could be a fantastic trip. August brings Minnesota's summer to a spectacular conclusion with the state's largest country music festival and, of course, the legendary Minnesota State Fair. So first up is WeFest happening on August 17th through the 9th, and this is going to be at Sioux Pass Ranch in Detroit Lakes. This is America's largest country music festival that travels around, and their 2025 lineup features headliners like Hardy, John Party, and Cody Johnson. What makes WeFest unique is their range of camping options that they provide. It's going to be kind of similar to Winstock, however, it is going to be maybe a little bit more family friendly, and they even have a quiet family area. So while they'll still have lively party zones, they are also going to have the family areas, which actually enforces quiet times. And so if you wanted to bring the kids, this would probably be the better event to do that. The festival fairgrounds themselves are also beautiful, which is set on Sioux Pass Ranch. So these are going to have some rolling hills and lakes nearby, and it's really the perfect Minnesota setting for an outdoor music festival. And beyond the main stage performances, they do also have some smaller stages with activities happening all throughout the grounds, so there's always something cool going on. But the crown jewel of Minnesota summer is, without question, the Minnesota State Fair, which runs from August 21st all the way through Labor Day weekend, so that's September 1st. Locals are here can call it the Great Minnesota Get Together for great reason. It is seriously the largest state fair in the US, second to Texas, I believe, but I've heard different reports that we're either number 1 or number 2. So another fun fact for Minnesota State Fair, we actually average around 200,000 visitors per day during its 12-day run, and so that's going to be actually more than the entire population of Rochester, Minnesota, which is our third biggest city. So you can imagine that there really are a ton of people, but it's going to bring a ton of fun with it as well. So the 2025 grandstand lineup this year is going to feature big names like Old Dominion and Melissa Etheridge with Indigo Girls for their ticketed concerts. But beyond those main shows, you can get free entertainment on different little stages throughout the fairgrounds. Then there's the food, which is arguably the main attraction for many of us that visit the state fair. Every year they introduce new food innovations that range from absolutely brilliant to absolutely bizarre, and namely, it's usually stuff on a stick. So they've had like spaghetti on a stick, tater tot hot dish on a stick, cheesecake on a stick, and obviously every kind of deep fried thing like Oreos or Snickers that you can imagine. So when our family goes, we always have to try one of these new foods, but honestly, we usually stick to the classics like those cheese curds or like Sweet Martha's cookies, which are phenomenal, and they sell out a ton of them. And I'm not talking like hypothetically just a ton, like literally tons of pounds of cookies are sold every single year. It's actually so iconic that my family themed out our pontoon last year for the boat parade as Sweet Mama's cookies, delivering little cookies that my wife and her sister made by jet ski to all the docks. And not to brag or anything, but we did make first place. The fair also hosts incredible agricultural exhibits and competitions as well, of course. This part doesn't necessarily get highlighted so much in the promos, but it really is the heart of the state fair. Now, one major pro tip for you is going to be about the secret entrance to the state fair that the locals know, and it's not going to be through the main entrance. So make sure to take the transit from one of the other park and ride locations that they have set up specifically for the state fair, and that will zip you into kind of the back side entrance, but you got to take the public transit usually to get there. I've got another 75 events loaded up, ready to be sent out to you. So again, shameless plug for the Hot Dish newsletter. I think you're going to absolutely love it, so I hope that you'll go subscribe. Just go to hotdishnews.com/subscribe. And again, make sure you subscribe to this channel because we're putting out all kinds of great things to do content, as well as getting to know where to live around the Twin Cities. So if your summer plans include buying or selling a home, I hope you'll give me a call. a call. My name is Joe Carmack. You'll find all my information in the description down below, and I hope you have a great summer.